Hello, friends. We have lots of news this week. Pretty wild. Let me adjust my sound here real quick. I wanted to talk about this developer update that just dropped. That, as you can see on the screen, is regarding the finishing mori. Now, the finishing mori is something that we heard about um, during the 5th year anniversary event. They first said that they hinted that they wanted to look into incorporating the mori into the overall gameplay. And then we didn't get any information about it for a while until year 6 anniversary, so this very past anniversary. They finally showed us an example and said, this is what we're looking to create, essentially. Where basically once it's down to one survivor and one killer, as soon as that survivor is put into a dying state, it's going to transport them both to a area of the map free from obstructions and go through the mori animation. So essentially, all of your matches will end with a mori. Now, they said that this was something they wanted to release in fall of 2022, which normally would be this upcoming mid-chapter update. However, they did release a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months, I forget, an update that said, hey, we're still working on this. It's not ready. We're actually going to push it back to spring. So I was expecting we just wouldn't see anything about this until spring, essentially. But they just posted an update today, September 22nd, that we are actually getting the finishing mori in the PTB. So I want to read through this because this is going to impact some different gameplays. I did glance through it already, so just to give you kind of a rundown, everything I just said, they are going to make it so that, again, the feature is going to be in the PTB, but it will not be going live in the mid-chapter update. So very likely, we are still not going to see it until a spring mid-chapter. But here we go. Here's kind of how the logic of last standing goes. So, when all other survivors are dead, dying, hooked, or have escaped, you become the last standing. Both your and the killer's senses are heightened, granting you a wider field of view. I'm very interested to try this out in the PTB. I can't wait to see it because I'm actually kind of concerned. I don't play with Shadowborn or monitoring abuse ever because the widened field of view gives me a headache. So I'm curious how much they're gonna widen it, and then I'm kind of like, I'm hesitant about it, honestly. Oop, sorry, I didn't mean to hit my mic. I'm hesitant about it just from, yeah, I don't want to get headaches playing this game. I like this game. So that's the only thing that I can think of. But once you rescue a survivor, so if you pick them up from the dying state or you unhook them, it ends the last standing phase. So your field of view goes back to normal for both the killer and the last survivor. But being downed as the final survivor, on the other hand, will trigger the finishing mori. When the last survivor is downed, the trial will draw to a climactic end. Both the survivor and the killer will be moved to a preset point on the map, free of any obstructions that may get in the way, and the killer's mori animation will begin. Any survivors still in the trial will be killed by the entity and treated like a sacrifice. So if they're on hook, it'll immediately they'll immediately just get killed by the entity on hook as normal, like if they were being hooked for the third time. And I'm assuming if they're in the dying state on the ground, then that means that they will, kind of like if you stay in during an endgame collapse, you don't make it out in time, the entity kind of comes up out of the ground. I think that's probably what's going to happen. But we'll see. Hope is not lost. With this new system in place, leaving survivors on the ground, aka slugging, may seem more appealing, yes. Opening the possibility of ending the match early. But the survivors aren't going to give up without a fight. After being left on the ground for 45 seconds, survivors will now gain the ability to pick themselves up without the need of any perks. This time is affected by recovery speed effects. So this is BASEKIT Unbreakable. I think the 45 seconds, we might see that tweaked a little bit. I think that's a very aggressive time. I like that it's pretty short. I would say in general, most of your chases, killer depending, and obviously how skilled you are with that killer as well, most of your chases are going to be around 45 seconds to a minute. So this basically is like, hey, if you want to slug everybody, go for it. You better be able to down everybody very quickly. So nurse, pretty much. Or if you aren't able to down everyone quickly, you are going to be punished for slugging. They don't have to bring Unbreakable. Now, the time is affected by recovery speed effects. So I'm curious how that affects. So obviously, if somebody has Unbreakable, they can just pick themselves up, right? And they recover faster. Same with No Mither. They recover faster. They can just pick themselves up. So my other concern is around if someone has like Unbreakable Soul Guard, right? But you're not cursed. So if somebody picks themselves up once with Unbreakable and then they get downed again, can they still, does Unbreakable, like, because they're recovering, I forget, I think it's like 20 or 30% faster, does that shorten the 45 seconds? Because it sounds like it does. And so that's very curious to me. And on the other side of it, Pentimento, I think at 3 stacks, it slows how quickly somebody recovers in the dying state by 30%. So does that make it so that they can't pick themselves up for another minute? Or does that recovery time like account for it? So I'm curious. Definitely a lot of things to test out when the PTV goes live, of course. Speaking of those perks, with both the Mori and the ability to pick yourself up now part of the base kit, a handful of perks that grant these abilities will need adjustments. Therefore, the ability to pick yourself up has been removed from Unbreakable, Soul Guard, No Mither, and Boon Exponential, as this is now part of the base kit. Oh, okay. My question may be answered here. The ability to Mori survivors has been removed from Rancor and Hex Devour Hope, as this is now part of the base kit. I understand Rancor. I don't like that for Devour Hope though. In addition, some of these perks will have changes made for the PTB. However, since this is an early preview, the in-game descriptions have not yet been updated. These are: Unbreakable now increases dying self-recovery speed by 80, 90, and 100%. Okay, so now that they remove the pickup, so if it's just a base 45 seconds on the ground, you can pick yourself up. This cuts it in half, so now it's 22, 23-ish seconds. Rancor, all generators are powered. The Obsession's aura is revealed for 5 seconds, and they are permanently inflicted with the exposed status effect. That's okay. Devour Hope, once 5 tokens have been earned, any survivor placed on a hook is instantly sacrificed. Okay. So, hold on, there's things about the Memento Mori offerings. Okay. I have questions. This makes sense, but I don't know. We'll see. You know, okay. Does it how is this gonna work? I imagine it's gonna be like with Pyramid Heads cages. It'll work with that. Will it work with that? Because currently Devour Hope does not work with Pyramid Heads cages. You don't get token. But will it? I'm gonna have to play Pyramid Head on the PTB. As always, we'll be keeping a close eye on your feedback for any of the affected perks. I'm curious how No Mither. I wonder if they'll keep the speed boost for No Mither and Exponential. I wonder how those are going to change. So, Memento Mori offerings. With the finishing Mori being triggered automatically when the last survivor is downed, Memento Mori offerings no longer have any use and will also receive an update. These offerings will now reward a bounty of blood points based on the number of survivors killed if you earn a finishing Mori. So for a Cypress, you get a bonus 8,000 if at least 2 survivors are killed, in the match ends with a finishing mori. Ivory, you gain 12,000 if at least 3 are killed. In Ebony, you gain 20,000 if at least 4 survivors are killed and the match ends in a finishing mori. I really like that. I was thinking they just get rid of the offerings altogether and just like give us blood points back. But I like this. I think this is nice. The finishing mori system, anti-slugging mechanic, and other changes mentioned in this post will be available for testing during next week's public test build. So that is hopefully going to be on the 27th. As a reminder, these new features will not be part of the 6.3 update. This is an early preview that's not yet ready for release. We would like to gather your feedback early as we continue developing these features to make their eventual release as smooth as possible. Until next time, the Dead by Daylight team. So this is all very exciting. I like these changes. I have a lot of questions. Right now I know there is actually a hidden achievement in the game called like Blood on Your Hands or something, where basically you get a 4-person mori. And so are they going to get rid of that achievement? Because they like, one, they're removing Devour Hope, so you can't mori people with Devour Hope. Technically, I guess Pyramid Head you still could, Sadako you still could, and Myers you still could, but that's a separate achievement on its own. So I don't know, because I got it with Sadako, with Devour Hope. I never actually did it with an actual mori before, but they're getting rid of that Devour Hope. So I'm curious about that achievement. Yeah, I have some questions. I definitely want to test out Devour Hope with Pyramid Head. I'm assuming that it's not gonna work. You will have to actually hook them, not cage them. But we'll see. I'm very curious. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will be streaming on both TikTok and Twitch next Tuesday in the PTB to test out a lot of things, hopefully. And let me know any questions you have. Anything you want me to test? Happy to try it out. And hopefully you stop by to say hi, and I will talk to you later. Have fun in the fog. Bye!